Hi there. I am Suzanne Elise Freeman, and I am the narrator of The Blue Hour Sanction, which is a new book by Landon Beach. So traditionally, to do some, promo on social media, the narrator will read some of the book for you. But I thought I would do something a little different. I thought I would give you a look behind the scenes of audiobook narration, and show you what it's like to be directed as an audiobook narrator. Um, for me, I had a very special experience this time around because, um, as you may know, if you're here, you may know that Adrian Astra, who is the main character of the Blue Hour Sanction, uh, was a character of a book within the book, uh, from an author, fictional author, who was the main character of Huron Breeze. Huron Breeze is the start of what will be a trilogy. It's As you can see, I'm having a difficult time describing it. So I thought I would bring somebody in to explain it a little bit better. Um, and both the person who is able to explain that better and the person who I asked to direct me in this project, same person, uh, the legendary audiobook narrator who is an Audible Hall of Famer, multiple award winner, um, Scott Brick. And so I thought I'd bring him on to explain to you what's going on, and then he's going to actually direct me in a scene from the Blue Hour Sanction. Mr. Brick, do you want to join us?
Yes, future Mrs. Brick.
Oh, right. I didn't mention that
We didn't
that's also
mention
my
that.
fiance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hi, honey.
I had I had a little bit of an in when I was asking him to direct me in this project. Yeah. So Scott, can you explain to us where Adrian Astra fits in the larger story?
Yes, so Landon came up with these two great characters in Huron Breeze, the beginning of the Huron trilogy, and it's Rachel and Obadiah. Uh, Obadiah is a detective, a private investigator, I forget, it's not a private investigator, I forget how it's referred to in among Michiganders. Um, but essentially, look, he's a PI, and he winds up working with this woman named Rachel, and he has no idea that she is an international thriller bestseller, a wild, rabid, extraordinary best-selling author. He has no idea that he's
Because she
working
goes
with this
under a
woman.
different name.
She goes under a different name, uh, uh, and her main character is Adrian Astra. And as we were, all of us, the three of us, chatting about this, um, because Adrian Astra's exploits are narrated by Suzanne Elise Freeman
In the book,
in the book, I remember I emailed Landon and I'm like, "You want me to have Suzanne Elise Freeman narrate these sections for you because she lives right up there, directly upstairs." Um, it began as kind of an Easter egg, and then it became a way to show you an author's main character who is an author who has a main character um, named Adrian Astra. It became a way to show you, well, her
and
origin
Landon
story.
decided to write a book about Adrian and show her origin story. So it started out, it was going to be a novella, and he made it into a full-length novel. And he asked me to narrate it, and I mean, there really wasn't a choice because he had already said that I was the narrator of these books. So I figured, what the hey? And I asked Scott to direct me. So we're gonna jump in. Um uh so I want to give you a little bit of a setup. Adrian uh doesn't start out as Adrian. That becomes her assassin name. So we have to learn how she became Adrian. This is from the beginning of the book. Um, what this company does, who is recruiting and training assassins, they recruit heptathletes, female heptathletes, um, and don't want to go too far off track here, but Landon did not know that I also was a heptathlete at the University of Minnesota. This character was a heptathlete at the University of Michigan. So really fun coincidence there that neither of us knew was going to happen. Anyway, so she is in the midst of competing at the NCAA track and field championships. She needs, well, no, I can't really explain that because you're about to find out. We're joining her mid-race. So that's where we are.
And I, as the director, I'm going to mute myself, and I will only interrupt when necessary, because this is the way that we directors and narrators typically work. We started it during COVID, and we started working via Zoom, and it's an elegant solution. We mute ourselves, we interrupt only when necessary. So,
Great.
babe, off you go.
All right, here we go. She was currently in 3rd place overall with a chance of winning, but to do that, her coach figured she'd have to finish first in the 800. Shouldn't be a problem. She was supposed to win the 800. Margaret had figured it that way too, but for different reasons. In fact, her coach was a bit disappointed that she wasn't in 1st or 2nd place going into the final event, but unbeknownst to her, it was because Margaret had engineered it so. Yesterday, she had eased back in the 200 meters and purposely missed 3 times in a row in the high jump at a height she usually cleared. Today had been more normal. She was the 2nd best long jumper in the field, and she finished 2nd. She was the 3rd best javelin thrower in the field, and she finished 3rd. Her coach's final instructions before she headed off to check in for the race were, "Go out there and give it your all one more time for the maize and blue, kiddo." Okay. Whew, big deep breath. This is what editors are for.
Babe, this is awesome. Let's just, since you're already stopped, let's just make it a bit more about the fact that she has to lose.
Okay.
Right? Because they've told her, if you don't, but they tell her you have to come in at a certain place. It's not only that, you have to come in 2nd, you need to come in 3rd, you need to come in 5th. We have to orchestrate this. So let's make just a little bit more about that. Take it back from the same spot. And just a little bit more that you're controlling where you land in this race.
All right. She was currently in 3rd place overall with the chance of winning. But to do that, her coach figured she'd have to finish 1st in the 800. Shouldn't be a problem. She was supposed to win the 800. Margaret had figured it that way too, but for different reasons.
Sorry. Again, just since we're at the beginning, I'm making just a little bit more about the fact that, she'd have to finish, to do that, her coach figured she'd have to finish 1st in the 800. I think we need to land a little harder on, no problem. She was supposed to win the 800.
But remember, you're only supposed to interrupt when it's necessary, right? That's what you said?
Right.
Okay. All right. So I'm starting from the beginning?
Indeed.
Okay. Muting? All right. She was currently in 3rd.
No, yeah, not working for me.
All right. So now you know what it's like to be directed by an audiobook director.
Yeah.
And that is your sneak peek into the Blue Hour Sanction. And we really hope it intrigued you enough to want to listen to the book. It is a fascinating book, really fun characters. Landon had a good time making me do a legendary Welsh actor's voice. And again, to know which
Better
one,
you than me.
Have to listen to the book. But also start with Huron Breeze, and then it's going to be Huron Nights, and then Huron Sunrise, which will finish the trilogy. And apparently Adrian's story will also wrap up in Huron Sunrise. And I will be making another guest appearance in that book, narrated by Scott, little guest appearance by Suzanne Elise Freeman, in more than one way, potentially.
Yeah. And as always, we're grateful that you listen. Thank you.